Hey, everybody, welcome in. My name is Adam, also known as V12, and we're going to be talking a little bit of your fielder's choice MLB DFS content. I'm joined by my boy at YFC, Pete Cole. Pete, how you doing today, man?
What's up, Adam? Good. It's good to have a partner here today. Everybody's sick listening to me, so we'll get a different opinion tonight. I'm sort of sick listening to my same old plays for the last 3 months. But a big ass slate, man. There's a lot. There's a lot to go over, a lot of pitching. So we're just gonna try to do our best here and give our top plays, top cash and GDPs, I think, right? And then we're not gonna go over 30 pitchers tonight. It's 15 games. So so we'll get you out of here 45 minutes to an hour and plenty of time to build our lineups. Actually, before we start, because I'm gonna forget, tomorrow night we have a CFL, Canadian Football League preview. Me and Walter Riddell. For all you small sports, niche sports people, 9 p.m. Eastern, because CFL actually opens Thursday, the 5th, week 1 of CFL. So we're getting into football season. Adam's one of our big football guys. So college football starting, so a lot of good things are happening. There's actually a new deal going on here, and you guys are new to YFC, a new deal, $25 a month, first 2 months. That includes all sports. I think I got that right. So it's a new college football deal or whatever. So check that out. We cover everything, free Discord, and it's pretty much it. MLB tonight, women's hoops tonight, 9 p.m. Article out for that. Do you have any soccer coming up?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing, obviously Olympic stuff as we get slates. Obviously, there's going to be some showdowns tomorrow. I'll have a lot more MLS content. At Wednesday, it's usually a big MLS day. They play midweek. They usually play on the weekend, so we're going to be dropping that. There was some Champions League qualifier content today. Also, like I said, I'll be jumping in here and there covering some pitching for MLB. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I think this is a big slate tonight. Last night was kind of weird. Small slate, weird pitching. Weird outcomes. The Yankees once again let me down as per the usual when I play them, but I think that's going to be the common thing. People are going to be burned on a couple of teams like the Yanks, and those are the kind of edges and I think the leverage that we want to be looking forward to. So right now, what we're going to be doing, Pete, is we're going to be walking through MLB. We're going to start with weather, and then we're going to kind of jump into plays from there, man. So I don't know if you've checked anything. I checked in with my my boy Kevin Roth, and it doesn't look like anything outside of Colorado. Have you seen anything else pop up?
No, you're right. Nothing updated. So for once, we don't have to worry about our starting pitching tonight. And I think even Colorado, I mean, it should be good to go, right? Just some scattered showers. So I think, yeah, we were good.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, like you said, not having to worry so much about pitching, but obviously having 30 options to choose from is going to be a lot. So let's kind of jump in right there, Pete. I know we've looked at the cheat sheet and looked at from a DK and FanDuel percentage of ownership. Right now, it looks like we're not going to talk about every pitcher, but we're going to talk about the ones that are standing out to us. Zach Wheeler is coming in as probably my favorite and your favorite cash play, and he's going to be the ownership darling tonight on DK and probably lead on FanDuel as well. How do you feel about Zach Wheeler tonight?
Yeah, I think he's got to be your core for cash. 9.7. He's one of our most expensive pitchers, but I think he's probably the only one that's got like a friendly matchup. Right. And I think he's the best of the bunch, pretty much in a vacuum. So we should be able to get him through 7 innings, get a bunch of Ks out of him. Let me see, 247 FIP, 5K to walk ratio, 33 innings of July. So yeah, Wheeler's our play. So I guess the question is we're talking cash here. Well, I mean, right. About GDP, but who is that? I mean, he's my SP1. The question is, who is going to be our SP2? I think Wheeler's going to be high enough on, according to our cheat sheet we're looking at, and our cheat sheet will be updated. It's updated. Well, actually, it was updated half hour ago. It's showing Wheeler 40% ownership.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of guys below that: Walker, Molly. A bunch of guys I don't even agree with. Walker, Tyler, Molly, Dylan Cease, Ryu. I think Bueller. Who do you like out of that bunch for an SP2?
Yeah, I mean, I understand the Taiwan Walker love. I mean, if you remember him, and I know you do because I do too. Remember him coming up, had some good stuff. Kid came up in the Seattle organization, I believe, and he's bounced around a little bit, but he has good stuff, good metrics this year. It's the same thing, man. He plays against Miami. Miami can be a trap sometimes, but that lineup they have out there is pretty awful. I will say he's not my favorite. I'm going to probably fade the inconsistent Molly. I think that I see he get into too many pitch count issues and too much trouble. Dylan Cease, I don't mind, but my favorite's Hyunjin Ryu. I think that, just from my pitch to make him an SP2 in cash is that, it's a 15-game slate. We're not going to pay up and just expect that, these guys are always going to pan out. But I do think that he's not exactly a huge K pitcher, but he's going to get the run support for Toronto. Cleveland's pretty bad. They have a pretty awful lineup. Ryu's not exactly a splits dependent guy. He pitches well against both sides of the plate. Outside of the obvious, Jose Ramirez, like I said, you have Miles Straw, Rosario at the top, Franmil Reyes. There's a lot of Ks baked in there. I'm not really overly concerned about Cleveland here. I think Ryu does well enough here, but if you want to save and be a little bit risky, I think you can go down. I think Cease might be a little bit safer here. I know you like him a lot. Like I said, I like his matchup too. But man, like I said, I think that it's Wheeler, and then it's either going to be a Ryu or Cease, or I'm going to be paying down.
Yeah, I agree. And my problem, I've always been a Ryu guy too. My problem is also is the strikeouts. He's like at 20% on a year. But I mean, Cleveland's got some Ks in there. I mean, you got Franmil 25%, Bradley 37%. So you take away J-Ram and Franmil, and I'd rather see Franmil even against a righty pitcher. Maybe Harold Ramirez. I mean, that's kind of a weak lineup. And you do take those two pitchers. You take Ryu or Cease, and both the teams are going against Cleveland and Kansas City are the bottom two from 5 runs at 3.5. So I'm probably leaning Cease right now just because it's Kansas City. Second lowest walk rate in baseball, 7.3. Tied for Cleveland. It's the team Ryu was pitching against for 24th in Team WOBA, 302. And also now Kansas City's without Soler. So, I mean, one less power hitter. And I believe, are the White Sox the biggest favorite tonight? They may be.
Yeah, we didn't really go through Vegas, but as we're going through, I mean, the White Sox are implied for about 5.6 runs. They're not the biggest in implied total, but they're probably the biggest favorite on the
they are. Yeah, minus 236, and then Milwaukee minus 227. So I would probably lean Cease as my SP2. To me, Walker is one of those guys that's a better real life pitcher than DFS pitcher. Yeah. Tyler Molly, I guess. I mean, Twins are pretty much rolling out a minor league lineup. Cruz is gone. Buxton's on the IL. So, I mean, there's so many pitchers to go. I would probably lean. I think I'm leaning Wheeler and Cease. I bet you when our next projections come out, you're going to see Cease jump up over Molly and Wheeler.
Yeah.
You got a sneaky play. You'd mentioned somebody before, and I kind of agree with you. You got a sneaky play for GPP.
Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, and we'll jump into yours. I think that what mine is first, and this is my pitch on there is that I'm not going all the way down, but I'm looking at a pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels, Jose Suarez. So digging in here, I mean, the one thing you have to obviously know is that, look, the guy, he's 6K. So you have to, temper your expectations. If the guy's going to get you 12 points, 15 points, you're going to be pretty happy with that. But here's what I like about this is that Texas is a very strikeout heavy team. Suarez is not a huge strikeout pitcher. However, he is very, very heavily reverse splits guy. You're looking at against left-handers. It's a smaller sample size, but lefties are hitting at a 464 WOBA and a 273 ISO against them, which are eye-popping, right? But against righties, 276 WOBA, 138 ISO, ground ball percentage of almost 60%. They do hit them hard when they hit them, but those numbers right there against this Texas lineup who are throwing out all right-handed bats, only Nate Lowe is the only left-handed bat in there. If you're looking at Texas just from a betting standpoint, they're only implied a little over 4 runs. We're paying $6K for a guy where we can go and attack some of the higher priced bats. We have a core slate. he just seems like he makes a lot of sense here. I mean, I know 6K, he's not a 4K pitcher, but I think he's going to be sneaky. I don't think he's going to be heavily owned. I like the guy. I think that it's viable to go there and say on a 15-game slate, what can he really do to hurt you here? And that salary might be more valuable in the bat side of things.
I kind of like that call. Was at 6K. What do we need from him? 12 DK points I mean, minimum.
Right.
And we Texas dead last in team OPS, and I guess in America, like OPS, WOBA, and WRC plus against Southpaws.
Yep.
And they haven't hit anybody since the All-Star break. So at 6K, no, I don't mind that call at all. And if I'm multi-entering, I'm definitely have a piece of. I mean, you go look at Suarez's log, and since he became a starter, he hasn't exactly lit the world on fire, but either has Texas. No, that's a good call. I agree with it. It's a sneaky call, and they're the calls that kind of you win GPPs with, or do sure well. So.
Yeah, I mean, and the good thing is too. The one thing I always worry about with some of these risky pitchers is, are they going to get in trouble via walks or via home runs? The guy, I mean, like I said, he doesn't have fantastic numbers. If he can give you a little over 5 innings pitched, a handful of Ks, maybe not quite 6, maybe 5, and maybe 1 walk, maybe 2, and then if he allows a homer or less, I mean, I get it. They're playing Texas is not exactly the old Texas, right? I mean, they have a much more, I guess, friendly park. We don't have that air funnel thing going on anymore. So hopefully this will be an opportunity for them to pay off a 6K price tag. Who's your favorite pay down pitcher tonight?
I think there's so many pitchers tonight though, but what one guy who's kind of caught my attention is Adrian Hauser for Milwaukee going against Pittsburgh. We know Pittsburgh doesn't strike out much, but Hauser's 7'6". He generates ground balls. So he's generating 60% ground balls right now against him, which is keeping his ERA obviously low. I said he doesn't have high NK upside, but he's a big favorite, minus 204, and keeps the ball on the ground. So, and it said we're not getting guys strikeouts out of Pittsburgh doesn't K. I don't mind Hauser at 7'6", and also I'm gonna take a chance mainly because of his price, but the kid for the Yankees called up today, Luis Gil. Yep.
Min price.
Supposed to be Cortez, we thought, but what's Gil? It's 4K, right?
4K. Yep.
Now he's their number 6 he's their number 6 prospect. He hadn't pitched above high A before this season, but began the season AA Somerset, 2.64 ERA, 7 starts. Struggled a little bit though in Scranton Wilkes-Barre though in AAA, 5.64 ERA through 8 starts, but he did pitch 6 innings and no hitter. I think that was last week, 2 weeks ago. I read a lot of good stuff on the guy. We know Baltimore is actually hitting better, but you look at that lineup, it's that lineup also got a lot of strikeouts in there, a lot of outs. So if I'm multi-entering GPPN, you run a guy like you can run a Gil at 4K. You can get a lot of bats in there also. And when you got Ramon Urias, I actually don't mind, but when you got Ramon Urias as your number 2 hitter, your offense struggling, is kind of a tough offense for Baltimore. So I don't mind, maybe it's me being a Yankee fan, but I don't mind Luis Gil at 4K, and then maybe load him up at some other different guys, some hiring guys like a Wheeler, or a guy that that's not higher on like a Molly or something like that, and maybe Kenta Maeda or something as GVPs. So probably Hauser, and then a little bit of Luis Gil.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I think the biggest thing about Gil is that he's 4K. Let's be honest, that's going to be the most appealing thing that we have going for him tonight. But at the same time, like you said, Baltimore, I mean, they're not exactly the offense that we've seen light people up, but I'm looking at them right now. I mean, I see some trouble spots. Mullins, Santander could probably hit him. Yeah, I mean, DJ Stewart has kind of fallen off pretty significantly, but like you talked about, Urias, Mountcastle has popped. There's no Mancini in the lineup. Austin Hayes is a decent bat, but this is a glorified AAA squad at best. So I'm totally on board with that. I mean, if you get 4 innings, three or four, get a strikeout per inning. If he can allow one or two runs, I mean, that's a good return at 4K. You're not even looking at double digits necessarily, but that's a good salary savings, man. So just to recap pitching, is there anything else that you wanted to touch base on?
Actually, the only other one I was just interested in, is, of course, now my computer is so slow, is the kid for Tampa, Luis Patino, 7,400. Yeah, I think he struggled a little bit, and then he pitched against the Yankees, bounced back, held the Yankees scoreless, 8 strikeouts over 6 innings, and plenty of strikeouts in that Mariners lineup. So I don't mind. I actually could see Patino. I actually have listed my top plays as a value cash play. So I have a little interest in Patino also. And we didn't mention Sean Manaea, but he's also in play at 9.4 in cash. But it's all about, I think, Wheeler for me, and I think Dylan Cease right now. I'm leaning toward him as SP2.
Yeah, and the one that I keep looking at, and I don't know why, but it's just very hard for me to look away. But it's Johnny Cueto, man. Against Arizona. I mean, he's having for him, it's a little bit of a resurgence. I don't think that he's gonna, like you say, he's not going to light the world on fire. 7K against a very, very poor Arizona offense. We know how good San Francisco has been. I mean, looking at these logs, man. I mean, he's gone for, let's see, he's throws 77, 82, 70 pitches, and 94 and 90. He's thrown over 100 a couple times this season. But I mean, the guy strikes people out. He gets ground ball outs. I mean, he doesn't get hit super hard. 23.2 points last time facing LA, Pittsburgh. He had a good outing there. St. Louis there at St. Louis, 17.5. So I mean, I think there's a route there that he could actually have a decent. So, I mean, don't take him out of your GPP pool altogether. But yeah, I think that's about it. There was some pitching changes on here. There wasn't anything that really stuck out to me here. I will say this, and it's very sad to say and see, but maybe I'll give him the reverse curse. But it's sad to see Blake Snell, man. I mean, I think that I don't know what it is. He's not the same guy anymore. So, I mean, he walks too many guys. Every now and then you get some strikeouts here and there, but I don't know. Hopefully he bounces back here, but yeah, that's pretty much my summer. Anything last thoughts on pitching?
Nope. The only other comment is Mad Bum making it's actually his second start against the Giants, and because the first start was in front of no fans, still hasn't started again in San Francisco. I was hoping we were going to see Buster tonight, but I heard that Buster was going to sit tonight. I was hoping to see Buster batting it tonight. But I missed that game. I like the Giants a lot tonight. But Bumgarner is going against his old team, the Giants.
All right. Sounds good. So that's pitching. Obviously, you guys check out Pete's Top Plays article, and you can check out our cheat sheet for ownership. It will be updated a couple times before lock. Moving on, we have the catcher position, catcher first base listed on FanDuel. Checking out some BVP here. Looking here, I'm looking at catcher. I do see that JT Realmuto has faced Corbin quite a few times. Not great success. 5 of, I believe, 24 on there. The best one I'm looking at is Omar Narvaez against Max Kranick. Is he on the slate? Am I reading that right? Did I just overlook him altogether?
Yep.
Okay. So Narvaez is on there. He has just it's always like he's that guy that you always look at from the catcher position. You're like, I think he could go yard today. Like, I really feel like, and he's on a hell of a team there, man. He's in that 3-hole. Kranick's not a great pitcher, kind of poor against both sides of the plate. So, I mean, he's going to be popular. Realmuto is going to be popular. I think that I might be more opted to pay down. I don't see any smash up catcher spots today. What do you think about this position?
Yeah, I agree. Navarro's at 43. I mean, he's in play. He's got the platoon advantage. If you're going to pay up, though, I think Wilson Contreras is probably your play at 5 ones and quarters. I'm probably not going to go that high. But Contreras is definitely in play. I mean, he's been crushing lefties pretty much all year. I'm going to drop down. I love Carson Kelly batting cleanup tonight, though, against Cueto at only 2.9. Even though I'd rather see, I mean, it's a reverse split matchup, but Carson Kelly at 2.9, I'll take it. Jonah Heim's not starting tonight for Texas, so we can't play him. Who's won us some money lately.
Yeah.
The other guy is Diaz for Colorado. I don't have what's Diaz's price, but he's got hits in 6 of the last 10, which includes 4 home runs in Coors against Zach Davies. So what is our cheat sheet? Does our cheat sheet show us anybody popping up for Contreras 18%? I guess.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I actually like Stassi a lot. They have him
yeah,
on here at 11%. You talking about from a price play? I mean, he's what, like 3.8 or something like that, batting cleanup against Jordan Lyles, who's an absolute garbage can. I mean, this guy can get hit extremely hard. If you look at Lyles's just metrics, I mean, 5.26 xFIP. I don't think I've seen that thing go down in 2 years. He gets hit
nope.
pretty hard, 45%. He's bad against righties and lefties. Actually, worse against righties. You're talking about hard hit percentages. Stassi's, right there at the cleanup spot, batting between Upton and Gosselin. I mean, I'll tell you one thing: the Angels are not shying away. They're just throwing whatever bats out there they want, and I think they're going to have some success tonight against some really bad Jordan Lyles. But yeah, I mean, just back to the overall of the catcher position, I think that you had a very good point in that, paying down, getting somebody in the heart of the lineup, that's kind of things that we look at. I mean, if you think Taijuan Walker is going to be bad, playing a Jorge Alfaro only 2.5, right under that Carson Kelly play there. So you said pay up, you're looking at maybe Contreras just because he's in Coors. I like Real Muto just because Corbin's pretty bad now. Eric House always pops in metrics that from Detroit. Him and the lefty, the leadoff guy, Abu, whatever his name is. They're both pretty solid here. So what is there any GPP guys that you're just like, damn, I just have to really take a shot on them?
I mean, it'd probably be Sanchez. I mean, because he's got the platoon split against Wells for Baltimore.
Right.
It'd probably be Sanchez. But I like the Stassi call. And look, he's a reverse splits hitter too. I mean, 263 ISO, 431 WOBA, 342 batting average against righties, and that's Jordan Lyles, 254 ISO to righties. So nice call on Stassi at 3.8, which is about what he should be. But yeah, I'm probably gonna drop Kelly and then Sanchez and the GVP. Will Smith going up against McCullers righty on righty. We know Smith hits righties better in reverse than lefties. So I guess Smith would probably be my favorite GVP call. Now I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard for me because I have so much respect. I think Dodgers, Astros, where neither team strikes out a ton, that I was like,
Right.
I don't even know if I want to look at bats on either this side or the pitching. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great matchup. I think, maybe a preview of the World Series. There are two caliber teams, but I know that's from an Astros homer standpoint. But yeah, I mean, I think that kind of rounds out our catcher position. Looking at that from a BVP standpoint, we kind of, touched on a few there. I will say, I think we may or may not have mentioned it, but Stassi is 1-for-1 against Lyles in his career with the single. So I want to slide over to first base if you're good with that. Looking at BVP there, I know Colin Moran's not getting the start, which would have been nice. He has a lot of good hitting experience again. Yeah. Joey Votto has good success against Maeda here. Actually, surprising for him, he's not usually a big slugging percentage guy. He has a .875 slugging percentage against Maeda. And then we do have Rhys Hoskins, who's probably one of my favorite plays at first base, has some good success against Corbin, 2 home runs to date. What do you think about the first base position?
All right, so I mean, if you have all the money in the world, money doesn't matter. So Tani or Vlad, of course. But sure. I think if you're gonna be using Zach Wheeler and then a Cease or Manaea, something like that, we're gonna have to be dropping. So I got a huge man crush today on a couple of Darren Ruff, way too cheap at 3.9.
Yep.
I mean, they brought him from the KBO to specialize to hit lefties, and he's sure done it this year. I mean, 329 ISO, 435 WOBA. He's now hit safely 8 straight games. Hit 354 in that span. Home runs in 2 of his last 3. Mad Bum's not a shutdown pitcher anymore. Love Ruff. I also love Ryan Mountcastle tonight against the Yankees. Yep. Mountcastle is, to me, he's almost a free square at 3.2. 5-game hit streak, multiple hits in 3 straight, couple home runs. So Ruff and Mountcastle are my 2 favorite cheapies. Right to let down there, I guess. I mean, he's gonna be popular. But to me, it's between Ruff and Mountcastle, and I'm not even gonna. I mean, Rizzo will play also, but I like Ruff and Mountcastle. They're my 2 top plays at value at first base. Okay. And of course, Joey. But I love first base. Joey Votto. I didn't even mention Votto, man. In Cincinnati.
Yeah, a couple of plays I'm looking at just to give you guys some options. If you're really looking out, I love the Mountcastle call. He was somebody that I'd looked at on there. I think that if you're kind of looking at it from a more contrarian standpoint, I mean, Garrett Richards could absolutely blow up tonight against the Detroit Tigers. Miggy Cabrera, I know Scope is first base eligible, or he was. I don't know if he's on the radar tonight, but he's out there at 4-4. But I really like Patrick Wisdom tonight. He's a good hitter, man. Good young kid. 4-4. I don't know if he's young or not. I just haven't heard from him that long. I know you had you talked about Patino. If you want some leverage on that play, if he's going to come in high on Ty France. I know the Seattle bats look good there, but I think that it's probably going to be Rhys Hoskins for me tonight. I just kind of have looked at him, been digging in. I think because I plan on trying to play Ohtani in the outfield, that's why I'm comfortable playing Rhys Hoskins there. For some reason, I pivot. I think that Ohtani's kind of the priority bat for me there if I can get it in there. But, I mean, Vlad hits everybody hard. Plesac's going to get hit hard probably by this Toronto team. Joey Votto at 5'6". Jose Abreu, you talked about the White Sox being so popular against Bubik here. Yeah, man, there's a lot of ways to go. First base.
I kind of like that Hoskins call. Actually, and I don't think our projections are showing him any kind of ownership. And I honestly, I didn't really think about Hoskins much today, but he's a fly ball hitter. Corbin gives up pretty sure a high percentage of fly balls to righty batters.
Yeah, he's not great. 46.2% Rhys Hoskins hits a fly ball, which is extremely high. That's elite in a fly ball percentage. I know he has good metrics, good BVP against him. If you're looking at just from a heat map standpoint, it lines up really well. Corbin lays it into those right-handed batters, giving it up to a 385 WOBA, 237 ISO there with a 43.7 hard hit percentage. I love that play. I mean, he's kind of been my guy. I'm going to stick to it, but yeah, man. I mean, he's up there, like I said, but you're looking at the top of that lineup, man. He's got some good bats around him. So Corbin hasn't been anything special. So hopefully, he pays off tonight. Anything else on first base before we move on?
No, you just made a good comment. I think the Phillies are going to be a nice sneaky stack tonight. Usually we say, like, if you're stacking, if you want to win these big GVPs, you want to stack the bottom of the order, the different guys, but nobody's playing Philly tonight. So you can go ahead and stack a 1 through 4, Segura, Hoskins, Harper, JT, Bohm, something like that. You made another nice call on Miggy. I saw a stat earlier. I don't have it in front of me, but like the last 14 days, Miggy has got crazy high percentage of hard contact and fly ball rate, like back to the old Miggy days. So don't sleep on Miggy tonight either. That was another good call you made.
All right. Love it. First base, as you can tell, we love that position. Sliding over to second base, right up the middle, we got some high ownership, obviously on the all sitting at the top of the ownership. And then right underneath there, probably my favorite just play, if we're going to talk about a Coors fade, is Ozzie Albies right underneath them. So I think that the first three are value plays, especially on DK. None of them are reaching the 4K range. You even have David Bote at 2.7, but McMahon at 3.6, Brendan Rodgers at 3.4. You're talking about this Colorado game. Tell me what you think. Help us get through this second base minefield. How do we avoid pulling a zero at second base tonight, Pete?
Yeah, and that's my problem. Is like I want to run Albies. Just because I sent out a tweet earlier. He's got a crazy BVP against Lester, 8 for 12. We know he crushes lefties. 301 ISO, 419 WOBA, but 330 batting. To me, Albies is my play. But Ryan McMahon, I mean, first of all, you got Brandon Rodgers batting second tonight in Coors. I mean, he hasn't been hitting great. He's got OPS almost near 900, so not bad. So Rodgers is cheap batting second. Ryan McMahon is way too cheap. A 3.6. And look at his Coors slash 287, 348, 511 compared to horrible numbers on the road. So Segura, you mentioned the Phillies. Segura's got hit 13 of his last 14 games. I still want to go to Albies because I think Albies is going to be able to trust Lester, but I think these McMahon Rodgers guys are going to be cheap at Coors. I've been getting smarter and kind of like fading a lot of these first Coors games, because I do believe that's a thing. The first game in Coors, it's going to let down 5 teams. But I'm over Albie tonight, but I'm thinking, what's our ownership looking? Our ownership's looking at McMahon, right? David Boat, I guess he's 2.7 in cores too. So
yeah, they're both popping up there. McMahon's probably going to run away with ownership just because it's the lefty versus righty matchup. I mean, that's going to be popular. So, I mean, Zach Davies is pretty awful. You're looking at a 204 ISO for McMahon, 337 Woba. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, I think that you can get, and some of these value guys here. I think that I found value elsewhere. We'll talk about another Colorado bat in the outfield from there, but I think that here at second base, it is either you have a lot of money and you have a luxury pay-up position, or you just go down and get one of these value guys, or you just say Albies is not at the top, 4-7 switch hitter leading off here against Lester, where he's had success. I mean, I love Albies, and he's going to be my play. But I will say, just from a GPP standpoint alone, I really do like digging in on some of these cheaper guys down low that are not even at a course. That could be good. One of them that's kind of popped out to me. I was looking at it in. Let me scroll down. Here we go. Yep. So they had this kid, Isan Diaz, against Walker. Yep. I think he's batting second now. I get it. His numbers don't look great here, or whatever it is. But from what I understand, this kid has some pop. They're batting him here. Taiwan Walker, who's known to have gas can tendencies. You're looking at 2.4K down there. It's somebody you can definitely look at as a value play, or if you just need a safe salary on there. If this is not the position to prioritize for you, then save salary. If not, then you grab one of these cheap cores guys, hope they go off at their 20 to 50% ownership.
Agree. I'm a Diaz guy. You're right. Diaz has got pop.
Yeah.
And I just saw that because he was day to day because he had a lower bat. He got pulled. I think it was Saturday's game. Wilmer Flores is a bad cleanup today for the Giants. Lefty killer against Bumgarner. So Wilmer Flores will play. He's only 3.8 also. I love Wilmer against lefties. He's right up there in my cash plays, but I think you might see Brendan Rodgers at 3. Because Rodgers is batting second, I see, and McMahon's McMahon's batting like 6 today. So you may see Brendan Rodgers actually catching more ownership than McMahon. Even though I think McMahon's obviously a better power hitter in cores.
Right.
This whole slate is loaded. So we may not see the slate as chalky as we think, because there's so many ways to go here, I think, also, which is pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I was looking at one thing on there that stood out is, they got my boy, the Flying Squirrel, Jeff McNeil down there. He's at 5-1. He's not going to be played at all because of all the names that are around him, but he's hitting in the 3-hole against Nieder, this Miami kid. And he's not even I guess the original guy that was supposed to start. They were supposed to have another kid that was supposed to start.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that he could be sneaky, 0.2% ownership, get a bomb, and you're sitting really good on here. Yeah, I think second base is going to be one of those spots here. If you're not playing one of the guys we talked about, it could be GPP for you. So we're going to be moving on here. We're going to be talking about third base and looking at some BVP here. I want to talk about, you have Alex Bohm against Patrick Corbin. He's had some success, a couple of bombs, only 10 at-bats, 4 of 10 there. Digging down a little bit, you have a Dylan Cease. Actually, he's given up a little bit to Hunter Dozier. Dozier's only at 3K. He could be a good GPP pivot there. And then also, I think that we mentioned him earlier, but we talked about Blake Snell. I don't know if the Oakland A's lineup is out yet, but Matt Chapman, is he hurt or is he playing right now?
Chapman is out tonight.
Okay. So I think that's about it. I mean, you have Luis Urias at 3.6 against Kranick. He's had some success on there. He's only about 3 at-bats on there. So, yeah, I mean, not a ton of BVP here. I do think this is an important position at third base. I have my guy who I'm really looking at here, but he's down a little bit. So I'll let you talk about the top end of third base and tell me what you think.
The top end, I think, is all about Devers. If you have the money, I would love to get to him. I think he's one of the top plays of the night. I just don't know if we can get to him tonight. He crushes ratings. He's even hitting better since the All-Star break. We know Willie Parada is negative regression is coming. He's had some decent games. Now he's given up 4 home runs, 11 earned runs over his last 9. So Devers is the play. I just don't think we probably can't get there. So this may be where I end up going with a guy like a David Boat. If not,
Yep. I think
Austin Riley. I like.
That's my guy. That's my guy. I love him.
I'll turn it over to you then. Talk me to Austin Riley.
Okay, so I mean, you're going to get the eligibility from like the Ryan McMahons and things like that. I think Austin Riley is not going to get played number one. He is just that guy that you don't play, and he's consistent. Let's look at his DK logs. 8, 18, 21, 14, 36, 6, 5, 24, 23. That's insane. Number one, the guy has pop. He's batting, I believe, in the 4-hole tonight against Leicester. If I was just looking at just Riley's, metrics based off of how good he is against lefties, he's absolutely crushing. Looking at him here against Leicester, I do notice that John Lester, one of the things that he does is he throws a lot of cutters. Riley picks up that inside pitch from left-handers very well. There's not a lot of velocity left from John Lester here. ISO is a 308 against the cutter, 361 CX WOBA, which is expected WOBA. And if you don't get any cutting action on your fastball and you just throw a fastball and lay it in, Austin Riley is somebody that can punish you here. I mean, he's a heat map guy, batting 4. Just looking at his DK, just his log recent. I mean, Atlanta's in a great spot tonight. I think if you can play an Austin Riley, you can play an Ozzie Albies together. You're linking that 1 to 4. Even if you don't play the 2 and the 3 spot, you do have Jorge Soler, super cheap. We'll talk about him in the outfield. But, I mean, you got Freddie Freeman there. But in his last 10 games, 488 on base, 1,026 slugging percentage, and a 1.515 OPS with a 421 average. The dude's hot, and he's only 4-1. I don't see how we can, look past this guy here.
Plus, you got Lester, who's allowing a 318 average, 552 slugging, and 2.1 home run per 9 to right-handed bats.
Yeah, and he's not showing up in any projections. We're seeing him at 5% or less. I do like the Patrick Wisdom call right there. He's a little bit above Austin Riley at 4.4. I mean, you can grab DJ LeMahieu. Obviously, we talked about the Yankees. If you can pay up for a Devers, Chris Bryant's going to be popular against a lefty here as well for the San Francisco Giants. But yeah, man, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I get it. I get the other plays, but I'm like, the places where I want to pay up at, this was a spot where I'm like, man, can I find somebody in that mid-range that I love? And I was looking at Riley, I was like, holy cow. And so, yeah, he's my play tonight for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Beside Devers, he's one of my top plays, and I'm not seeing him anywhere. I'm seeing a lot of Bryant's, McMahon's, Wisdom's. Another guy, if you want to go all the way down to minimum price, I don't mind, is Charlie Culberson. Culberson's been hitting lefties this year, 370 WOBA, 326 batting average, way down at 2K. Batting second against our guy, Suarez. But if you're making a bunch of lineups, you want somebody different. Guy batting second, 2K. You can do a lot worse than Culberson batting second with a platoon advantage against Suarez.
Yep, you got Diaz. He's also third base eligible, the guy we talked about from Miami. So you can look his way. And of course, you have Old Faithful switch hitting as Sudro Cabrera against Cueto, only at 2.9. Hey, he's been pretty good lately, man. 23, 3, 4, 16. I mean,
he's won me money over the years. He's made me a lot of profit over the years. Dribble.
Yeah. That's why I called him. I know he's just your ass dribble guy, so I know he's your Old Faithful. But yeah, man, I think that kind of covers third base. Let's move on to shortstop. Just looking at it from a BVP standpoint, let me see if anybody pops here, Pete. Carlos Correa, only 2 at-bats. He has gone yard in one of those at-bats with 2 hits. He's 2 for 2, 1 home run against Walker Buehler. That's definitely GPP. Buehler's pitching great this season so far. You could say an Elvis. Actually, I don't think he's starting. Tell me a little bit. I know this is your guy, but tell me a little bit about Timmy Anderson against Bubic here. I know that the White Sox are popular. He's 6K, Pete. 6K. Is he worth it?
No. And that's one of my problems. I'm not paying that much for Timmy at all this year. I probably played him less than most people. Why he's gonna start? Why am I not? Am I seeing something wrong? He's gonna start lineup, right? It's worse. Yeah, he's leading off.
Yeah, he's leading off.
Of course, it's against lefty. And I mean, Bubik's a lefty. Anderson's a lefty killer. But if you're looking at just this season, 117 ISO, 307 WOBA, I'm not paying $6K for it. Actually, Timmy's hitting better reverse splits. I'm not paying that much. I'm not even sure if I want to pay that much for Trevor Story. I mean, Story at 5'2".
Yeah, he's going to be probably the chalk on this slate from the shortstop position for sure. Right now, I have him slotted in, but I agree with you. I mean, obviously, he's got great metrics. A lot of that's based off of 2 years of data, if not 3. So, I mean, I think that this could be, if you really are feeling it, you're like 15 games. Do I really need Trevor Story? I could just move on down and play me somebody else that I really, really like here. If we're going down from Trevor Story, I feel like we're bearing the lead a little bit, not talking about him first, but he's probably going to be the highest owned guy. But I'm not in love with them.
So who's your favorite guy here? Don't look at the picture on the screen.
I'm not looking at the picture on the screen. Is it Dansby Swanson?
No, it's Swanson. No,
okay. I do like Swanson. I didn't want to talk about Farmer. He's your guy. I do like Farmer, but I don't. I'll talk about Swanson briefly. But tell me about Farmer tonight.
And I think I brought this up the last live stream we had is Barry Larkin, who knows a little bit about baseball. I've been watching a lot of the Reds games because I'm a big Bottle fan. I was watching Bottle Streak, and Barry Larkin just totally just creams himself over Kyle Farmer. He compares him to Bo Bichette. He compares him to Timmy Anderson, compares him to Tatis when they were younger. And if you look at this kid's stats, I mean, over the last 7 days, 13 hits. He got a hit 14 of his last 15 games since the All-Star break, 426 average, 1.21 OPS, 311 ISO. Way too cheap for this kid in Great America Small Park. So yeah, I love this Farmer kid, especially when he's in that ballpark against. I mean, Matt is not an easy matchup, but he's batting third against Matt instance down. I love Kyle Farmer. He's like probably my top play if you're not going with Story. And I also, now that Urias, I see, is batting second today. This Ramon Urias is really hitting the ball. Hit some 5 of his last 6, batting 350 with a home run against Luis Gil for the Yankees. I could go down to Ramon Urias either, but I just got this huge crush on Kyle Farmer right now for Red.
Yeah, I mean, recency bias. He's probably one of the hottest hitters right now in baseball, and like you said, I think that Barry Larkin knows a little bit about baseball. And yeah, I mean, I do like Farmer a lot here. I'm really digging Dansby Swanson just because he's he's right there at the 5 hole if I'm stacking him with Riley. But here's the issue: Farmer is cheaper, and I don't want to completely be so dependent on the Braves tonight. So obviously, I have to look at it from that standpoint. Yeah, I love the Farmer call, man. I think that's going to be super, super. I think it's not going
to be popular either, right? I'm not.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it is. I was looking at ownership on him, and you're talking about 1-2% on this slate. So yeah, I love it. Let's roll us out some Farmer, or you have some other options there. But like I said, we talk about it from the standpoint of what the slate looks like. So if you're worried about ownership, play Trevor Story and then figure it out from there. But me and Pete both agree he just hasn't been the same this year. So we're going to look at some other options on there. Any last things on shortstop before we round out with the outfield?
I guess we do have one. We have another punt. Andrew Romine. Honestly, I didn't even know Andrew Romine was the Cubs right now. He's bat 8 in course at 2K. So Romine, right? Romine's a switch hitter, I believe, going against Freeland. So I guess he's in play also at 2K.
Is that different than the catcher? Did his brother play, or who's the other Romine that I'm thinking of?
Well, Austin Romine, but Tigers. But Andrew Romine played for Detroit too, I believe. I don't think I didn't know he's with the Cubs right now. So, but he is.
Yeah, starting pretty hot here and playing in Coors. What was it? Batting 8th, 2K batting Coors. Yeah, you got to look at that. That's definitely something pertinent. I'm glad you mentioned that. All right, so we're going to go into outfield to kind of round out our positional talk. Looking at BVP, Pete. Let's see what we're looking at. Duvall, a little bit of success. Soto actually has some success against Wheeler. Justin Upton, super cheap, 3.2. Great success against Lyles here. Has a home run, 733 slugging. Let me see if there's anything else. Josh Reddick, I wish he was starting. Robbie Grossman's been decent. But I do see Nelson Cruz. I need to mention him because against Kikuchi, he's 4 hits and 5 at bats. Let's see, 2 home runs, 1 walk. Nelson Cruz has power. And if you have any bats to worry about against Dylan Cease, Andrew Benintendi would be one to talk about. If you're looking at an ownership standpoint from outfield, it's pretty spread out. I guess surprisingly, not surprisingly, at least where I'm sitting at and looking right now, the Yankees are leading ownership with Judge and Stanton. Judge over at 22%, Stanton at 18%, and then you have Blackman underneath them. What do you think about outfield tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's so many ways to go. I don't think we have to play the Otanis or the Cruzes, the great plays. I think you could probably start with the Judges and the Stantons and the higher 4s. I'm not sure if you can. I probably some reason I think I like Stanton better than Judge tonight. But
I always like Stanton better than Judge.
Yeah, I do a great spot. Only 4-1. Brandon Nimmo for the Mets, only 3-7. I think that's going to be a sneaky play, and I think he's going to be. I'm assuming he's not going to be low owned going up against Nick Niter. He's got the platoon advantage. So many plays. Is Eloy back tonight? I just saw a note that Eloy is.
Is he playing tonight? That I don't know. I can look up right now.
Bad cleanup against Chris Bubik. Eloy's now 4-3.
Well, I would say they raised his price. I will say, if you're looking at it, the top, I feel like value, if you're looking at Coors bat, Sam Hilliard, sneaky pop, 2.5. I mean, he's going to be somebody who's pretty popular coming off 2 pretty good games here. Jorge Soler at 3-1 in the 2-hole. Great right-handed power against Lester. I mean, like you said, in a perfect world, we just play Ohtani. We play a Yankee or 2, and then, one of these other guys. But I think that you have to look at some salary. I talked about Akil Badu earlier a little bit. He's kind of cooled off a little bit recently. So, I mean, if you had, give me your favorite mid-range and give me your favorite punt play tonight.
Favorite mid-range is probably going to be Stanton. Marte's in there too. He's got hits in 13 of his last 15, so Marte's in play with Judge. Favorite value right now, I'm probably looking at Jorge Soler, another power hitting righty to face Lester. I like the Upton BVP you mentioned, but probably run with Soler, and like Hilliard as a value. And you also can't Ralph the Outdoor Ortega. It's lefty versus lefty. The kid's got 4 home runs, 6 hits, 7 ribbies over his last 2 games. You can't dismiss that.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, just looking at our cheat sheet, I'm sure that's going to be updated. You're going to find some guys that are going to pop on there. Austin Slater was a pretty popular value play that's looking at popping only $3K from San Francisco. He's only 2.3 on FanDuel, which seems pretty criminal. But if you're looking for another, we talked about value with Sam Hilliard. Ben Gamel is actually super cheap for Pittsburgh. 2-1 on DK, 2-3 on FanDuel. But yeah, I mean, I think that outfield's going to be what differentiates people. I don't think you're going to see a lot of duplicated lineups tonight unless they're some of those lineup trains from the providers. But yeah, man, I think that that's kind of where my decision lies. I feel like my SP2 and my outfield is going to be where my decisions are going to be tonight. I'm pretty solid on, 2-3 max at other positions. We talked about BVP. We talked about, ownership. Just give me your last overall thoughts on the slate, and if you have any prize picks, and then we'll kind of get out of here.
I think it's a good slate. I don't think it's going to be crazy with all these guys. With a lot of guys being so high owned together. If they are, I'm would be happy to pivot away from some of these guys, like the Stories, the Chris Bryant's and stuff. My favorite stack, I do like the Giants tonight, going up against Mad Bum. Now that I know that Flores is hitting cleanup to starting. I kind of like the Cubs as a kind of a sneaky stack. If we can say sneaky in cores, even because everybody's going to be on the Rockies. And I think we both like the Braves tonight. And I haven't done my core yet. I'll have it out in a second, but I know Wheeler's going to be on there. That's it. I'm so excited. Am I going to use Darren Ruffin out at first base? I'm going to go somewhere else, but I do like Ruffin Mountcastle. We still got time. We still got 40 minutes before before lock. If you guys are in premium, I will put my core out there. Yeah, that's it for me. Besides price picks, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have anything really to compound upon that. Like I said, it's a big slate. Be sure to check out your resources, guys. Check out Top Plays and Ask Questions in Premium. Pete, any prize picks before we head out?
Yeah, I ended up with a bunch of them tonight, but I on my article actually have more than I like the Wheeler over 39.5 fantasy points. I like Albie's over the 1.5 hit walk, and I think he also had a 1.5. He also had a 1.5 total base, I believe. Like that. I like Lester. I have an under on Lester under 3 Ks, but I don't think he's going to make it out of it second inning. And probably Corbin under 4.5 Ks. You're more of a price list guy than me, so who you got?
I mean, I'm on board with that. I haven't dug in too much. I'll share my stuff in the prize picks room, which is free on our Discord. So you guys be sure to jump in on there. I guess my only lasting thoughts on the slate were we're not really talking probably enough about Toronto. So I just want to mention them before we get off.
That's a very good point.
I was just thinking about it. I was like, man, I'm just looking at George Springer. I'm looking at these Toronto bats, and I'm just like, I feel like we're just not talking about Toronto enough. But yeah, so just so you guys know, I think that
Corey Dickerson. I forgot about Corey Dickerson sitting there batting 6th against a righties. Dickerson, Dickerson breaks righties, man.
Yeah, and I'm looking at some of these bats on here, and I'm just like, man, I feel like I have to just get some cores of bats against Plesac, because I think that once you get past Plesac, I think that bullpen for the Cleveland Indians is going to be not great. They look to have decent numbers, but it's Toronto, man, and we're playing in Toronto, which is like, what is it? They call it Coors North or something like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So guys, like I said, we appreciate you joining in on it with us. Check out the articles, check out the cheat sheet as always. My name is Adam, also known as YFC V12. We got Pete Cole at YFC at Pete Cole. If you have questions, hit us up in Premium. Other than that, guys, we appreciate you. Be sure to give us the like and to subscribe to this YouTube channel along with our other social platforms. Don't forget about the special $25 for your first month. Check us out in our free Discord. Signing out, Pete. As always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Good luck tonight, and we'll see you on the flip side, guys.
Thanks, guys.